In the spring and summer of 1939, Nazi Germany quietly began a terrible plan. Some Nazi leaders started to secretly organize a program to kill disabled children. Starting in October 1939, health officials began asking parents of disabled children to send their kids to special hospitals. They said these hospitals would care for them, but in truth, these places were killing sinners. Nurses and doctors gave the children too much medicine or left them to starve to death. In April 1941, one of these crimes happened in the German city of Lübtheen. A home for mentally disabled children was taken over by the Nazi Party, and the children were sent to the Leuenberg Clinic in Schwerin. There, they were murdered as part of the Nazis' secret euthanasia program, known as T4. This deadly order came from Friedrich Hildebrandt, the Nazi leader of the region. 2 weeks later, he proudly said in a meeting, "I had the idiots put where they belonged." Friedrich Hildebrandt was born on September 19, 1898, in a village called Kiekindemark in the German Empire. His father, Friedrich Johann Theodor Hildebrandt, was a farm worker and stonemason, and his mother's name was Bertha Anna Emma. When Friedrich was just 4 years old, his parents divorced, but later got married again. Between 1905 and 1912, he went to elementary school. After that, he worked on farms for 2 years and then got a job as a railway assistant in the town of Wilsnack. When World War I began in 1914, he could not start any formal job training. On November 25, 1916, he joined the German army as a volunteer and was sent to the Western Front in early 1917. He was badly hurt during the war by poison gas and a bullet to the stomach. He was given awards like the Iron Cross First and Second Class for his service and was in the hospital until the end of the war in November 1918. After the war ended, Hildebrandt joined a right-wing political group called the German National People's Party. On January 13, 1919, he also joined the Freikorps, a group of former soldiers who fought against communists in Germany. In March 1920, he joined the security police and helped crush a failed right-wing coup called the Kapp Putsch. But he was later accused of being too brutal toward captured communists. Even though many people died, Hildebrandt was found not guilty in court. However, in June 1920, he was removed from his job for his behavior. He went back to farm work for some time. In September 1922, he went to a political meeting of the German National People's Party, but was kicked out shortly after. On October 19, 1923, he married Elise Else Christine Kruger. They had 6 children. In 1924, Hildebrandt joined the German Völkisch Freedom Party, another far-right group. He became a member of the local parliament in Mecklenburg-Schwerin and stayed there until March 1925. That same year, on February 16th, Hildebrandt met Adolf Hitler in person. Later that year, on May 8th, he officially joined the Nazi Party. He was the first Nazi to be part of his region's parliament. Power, corruption, and crimes in Nazi Germany. In June 1925, Hildebrandt started a Nazi newspaper called the Niederdeutscher Beobachter, where he worked as editor. Around that time, he also wrote a hateful article titled "The Solution to the Jewish Question." In it, he blamed Jewish people for problems in society, especially among the rich landowners in Mecklenburg, calling them heavily Jewed. On June 6, 1926, the Nazi Party lost elections, and Hildebrandt lost his seat in parliament. He and his family began to struggle financially. They moved to the town of Parchim, where Hildebrandt got some help from Nazi supporters to continue his political work. From November 1927 to January 1930, He served as a town councilor. Hildebrandt strongly hated the Catholic Church. He once said, "Once I am at the helm, I will make sure that within 2 years there will be no more Catholics in Mecklenburg." In 1932, Hildebrandt returned to Parliament. Though the Nazis had become the largest party in Germany's national elections, they didn't win a full majority. In January 1933, when Hitler came to power, Hildebrandt kept his position in the parliament and stayed there until the end of World War II. Later that year, on December 5, 1933, Hildebrandt joined the SS, the Nazi paramilitary force. In January 1934, he was promoted to SS-Gruppenführer, which is like a major general. That summer, some party officials and police officers tried to remove him from his job. They accused him of being mentally unfit to lead, using his mother's mental illness and his daughter's learning difficulties as reasons. But Hildebrandt survived this attack thanks to support from Bishop Walther Schulz and Rudolf Hess, the deputy leader of the Nazi Party. In 1935, Hildebrandt became a member of the Academy of German Law, even though he had never earned a university degree. During this time, he used his position for personal gain. He helped fellow Nazis get cheap loans and sold land in good locations at low prices. In 1938, he bought a large estate near Leuthen for a very low price, just 50,000 Reichsmarks. When World War II began in September 1939, the Nazis also started the T4 Euthanasia Program, a plan to kill disabled patients in hospitals. Hildebrandt was part of this program. In April 1941, he ordered the children's home in Leuthen to be shut down and its disabled children moved to a clinic in Schwerin. There, the children were killed by a doctor named Alfred Louis. Hildebrandt later bragged in a meeting, "I had the idiots put where they belonged." In January 1942, Hildebrandt was promoted again, this time to SS Obergruppenführer, which is equal to a lieutenant general. In April 1942, he became the local commissioner for labor deployment in his area. During the winter of 1941 and 1942, thousands of Soviet prisoners of war starved to death in his region. Hildebrandt wrote to Nazi leaders that there weren't enough workers and that more Russian prisoners should be brought in to solve the problem. On March 17, 1942, at a meeting of Nazi officials, Hildebrandt made a chilling statement. He said, "For the Führer and the cause of Adolf Hitler, I will pursue the law, even if it means walking over dead bodies." By the end of 1943, more than 152,000 forced laborers and prisoners of war were working in his region. On September 25, 1944, Hildebrandt became the leader of the Volkssturm in his region. The Volkssturm was a last-minute German militia made up of boys as young as 16 and men up to 60 who were not already in the army. In February 1945, he visited Hitler one last time at the bunker in Berlin. Hitler was still promising miracle weapons and telling his top Nazi leaders to keep fighting, no matter the cost. Back in his region, Hildebrandt gave strict orders to keep resisting. On April 5, 1945, he warned, "Wherever there is even the slightest hint of a relaxation of fighting morale, we will crack down with ruthless severity." He created a court-martial system to punish anyone who lost the will to fight. But in truth, Hildebrandt himself did not fight. In the last weeks of the war, he mostly hid in an underground command post. His last public appearance as Nazi leader was on April 25, 1945, when he met with other Nazi officials in the northern town of Plön. On the morning of May 1, 1945, as the Allies were closing in, Hildebrandt, his son, and a few loyal followers went to Schwerin to gather and hide his personal records. They took documents from a school, packed them in ammunition boxes, and buried them in a forest near the town of Hagenau. He then fled to avoid being captured by the Americans. But he was caught. On May 12, 1945, Hildebrandt was arrested by British soldiers in the village of Sismar. He was sent to an internment camp and later handed over to U.S. authorities in April 1946. He was accused of war crimes, including giving orders to kill captured Allied pilots between June and December 1944, which broke international war rules. He was put on trial at the Dachau trials, held at the former Dachau concentration camp. On March 31, 1947, the American military court sentenced him to death by hanging. Between 1946 and 1948, the Soviets demanded Hildebrandt be sent to them because of his role in the killings of disabled children during the T4 program. But the British and Americans refused to hand him over. Before he died, Hildebrandt and his wife sent 2 letters asking for mercy. He claimed he was innocent and said he was a victim. In his final statement, he told an officer, "Captain, for 26 years I have been fighting against the Bolsheviks out of deep conviction as a Mecklenburg farmer. They have sentenced me to death, but American Marine soldiers delivered me from them. I am a victim, not of your courts, but of communist elements who made statements against me. Since my home is in the Russian zone, I was not able to get all the material for my defense. God, protect my family and my 5 poor children." But the court rejected his pleas. His death sentence was confirmed on March 22, 1948. On November 5, 1948, Friedrich Hildebrandt was hanged at the Landsberg prison in West Germany. He was 50 years old.